Okay, let's unpack this. A Masonic lodge on the moon.
Mm,
You might think that sounds like, well, science fiction, but it actually happened.
it did.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're sort of journeying, metaphorically speaking, to Tranquility Base.
Yes, to explore the establishment of Tranquility Lodge No. 2000.
Right, by Apollo 11's own Buzz Aldrin.
And the fascinating thing here, I think, is that it's not just some, weird historical footnote. No,
Mm-mm.
it really gives you a different angle on human ambition, these big symbolic acts,
Mhm.
and maybe the enduring nature of groups like the Masons.
It definitely puts a new spin on a famous event.
Absolutely.
Most of us, we remember July 20, 1969, those first steps, huge moment.
Unforgettable.
But our deep dive today, and we're drawing heavily from the Robert Burns Lodge No. 59 website, specifically their article, A Masonic Lodge on the Moon. Well, it digs into something much less known about that day.
Yeah, a hidden layer, almost.
Exactly. So our mission, if you will, is to uncover the story behind this lunar lodge. The why, the how, why it was kept quiet at first, and what it means today.
Okay, so let's set the stage. July 20, 1969. Mankind on the moon. Incredible.
Right. And within that huge public event, there was this personal, almost secret mission for Buzz Aldrin.
That's right. Aldrin was already a Freemason, a member of Clear Lake Lodge No. 1417 down in Texas.
And he carried something specific, didn't he? Something called a Special Deputation.
Yes, precisely. It was an official document, an authorization from the head of the Grand Lodge of Texas at the time, the Grand Master J. Guy Smith.
And what did this document actually do?
Well, it was pretty significant. It essentially gave Aldrin the authority, acting on behalf of the Grand Lodge of Texas,
Okay.
to claim Masonic Territorial Jurisdiction over the moon, basically extending their Masonic authority to this new frontier.
Wow. So like planting a flag, but
Masonically.
you're sort of, yeah. And it empowered him to establish, right then and there, the first Masonic lodge off-planet. And that's Tranquility Lodge No. 2000. Named, obviously, for the Sea of Tranquility.
Mare Tranquillitatis.
Yeah.
The landing site. Coordinates 8.5 north, 31.4 east, for anyone keeping score.
Okay, but here's the thing that gets me. If this happened, why wasn't it, splashed all over the news? Why the secrecy?
That's a really good question. And it ties into the thinking back then. The record suggests the push for this came from the Grand Master himself, J. Guy Smith.
Okay.
He apparently saw Aldrin's mission, and Aldrin being a Mason, as more than just, science and exploration.
Right, he actually wrote about it in 1969, didn't he? He asked something like...
Yeah, the quote is striking. He asked, just as a Mason set foot on the moon, can't Masonry help solve some of today's problems? Can't our teachings of charity and brotherly love be used to lead America out of its current dilemma?
Current dilemma. What was going on in 69? You had Vietnam.
Oh, absolutely. Huge
Yeah.
divisions. The Vietnam War, the Cold War was still very much a thing. Massive social and political change, unrest.
Right.
So, Smith seems to have viewed this act, establishing a Masonic presence on the moon, as this incredibly powerful symbol, like an aspiration towards universal peace, harmony, something reaching beyond all the conflict on Earth.
So not just planting a flag, but planting an ideal.
Exactly. You could see it as aiming for a beacon of Masonic principles, brotherhood, charity, truth in this completely new realm, a counterpoint to the troubles back home.
So instead of a big public announcement...
No. Grandmaster Smith issued the Special Deputation quietly. Aldrin was basically instructed to perform a brief Masonic ritual on the moon and then report back.
A private act, but with huge symbolic weight.
Precisely. And Aldrin did it, after the landing, inside the cramped lunar module.
Right. Not exactly a spacious lodge room.
Definitely not. He performed a short Masonic ceremony. Now, the specific details, what exactly he said or did, and that's not public. Masonic rituals are generally private.
Sure. Understood.
But the key result, the main point, is that he formally claimed the moon under the Masonic jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge of Texas.
He did it. Wow.
And established Tranquility Lodge No. 2000.
Just picturing that in the LM, amazing.
And that number 2000, that wasn't just pulled out of a hat either.
No. What was the thinking there?
Well, it reflected the incredible optimism of the Apollo era. There was a genuine belief back then, a pretty strong expectation.
That we'd have moon bases soon.
Exactly. That by the year 2000, lunar colonies would be a reality. So the hope was that Tranquility Lodge No. 2000 would actually be a functioning physical lodge on the moon by then, a place for Masons living and working up there to meet.
Huh. That future. It certainly took a different path, didn't it?
It really did. The Apollo program got scaled back. The last manned mission was Apollo 17 and 72.
And that dream of moon colonies and a working lodge up there, it
Yeah,
kind of faded.
it did fade. But the idea wasn't completely lost.
Okay.
Fast forward to the year 2000. The Grand Lodge, Texas, decided to officially charter Tranquility Lodge No. 2000.
Ah, so they formally recognized it then.
Yes. It was a way to honor that original vision, Aldrin's Act, even though there wasn't, a building with a Masonic symbol on the moon.
So Tranquility Lodge Now 2000 exists today, but it's here on Earth.
That's right. It operates as a regular chartered lodge under the Grand Lodge of Texas, but with a twist.
That is.
It's what's called an affinity lodge.
Affinity Lodge, meaning...
Unlike most lodges, which are tied to a specific town or neighborhood, affinity lodges bring together Masons who share a particular common interest, regardless of where they live.
Okay, and the affinity here is...
Well, it's twofold, really. Space exploration, obviously, but also that core Masonic ideal of universal brotherhood and harmony, the very thing Smith was aiming for symbolically back in '69.
Got it. So who can join? Just Texas Masons interested in space?
Nope. That's another interesting part. Membership is open to Masons in good standing from any recognized Grand Lodge anywhere in the world.
So it's international.
Very much so. They hold meetings quarterly in different Texas cities, and they have a special annual meeting every July in Waco.
To mark the anniversary, I suppose.
Exactly. The Apollo 11 landing and Aldrin ceremony. And their meetings aren't just about, standard Masonic business.
What else do they focus on?
They spend a lot of time discussing new developments in space exploration, science, technology.
Makes sense.
And a big part of their mission is supporting education, particularly STEM science, technology, engineering, math, trying to inspire the next generation of explorers.
That seems very fitting.
Yeah, they actively support organizations like the Conrad Foundation, for example, which promotes science education in honor of astronaut Pete Conrad.
And you said it's international. How widespread is the membership?
It's pretty impressive. Over 1,200 members currently from countries all over Germany, Japan, the Netherlands, you name it. It really functions as a kind of global symbol of that Masonic connection.
That's quite something. And do they have any artifacts, mementos from the original event?
They have the artifact, the original Special Deputation document that Aldrin carried to the moon.
No way. The actual paper.
The actual paper, signed by both Aldrin and Grandmaster J. Guy Smith. It's their most prized possession, understandably.
I can only imagine. What a direct link back to that moment.
Absolutely. And Buzz Aldrin himself, he's spoken about how he sees space exploration aligning with Masonic values.
Oh, really? What did he say?
There's a great quote where he says, "The goal of going into space fits precisely into our principles of upholding the values of science and education. Civilization absolutely depends on it, constantly investigating, discovering new things. If we ever stop doing that, we're going to go backwards."
Wow, that really sums it up, doesn't it?
It perfectly captures the spirit of Tranquility Lodge, I think, even without a building on the moon.
Yet, you think it could still happen?
Well, look at the renewed interest in space now. Private companies, new missions planned. Certainly makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could there be a physical Masonic lodge on the moon someday?
It's an amazing thought. Imagine meetings in a lunar temple, Masons arriving from Earth, maybe from moon bases.
It's aspirational for sure. But until that day comes, the lodge is doing important work right here, keeping that spirit alive, exploration, knowledge, that ideal of universal brotherhood.
So really, the story of Tranquility Lodge 2000, it's more than just trivia. It's a testament, isn't it?
I think so. A testament to that Masonic drive for progress, for learning, and for connecting people, symbolized by what Aldrin did up there.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? As humanity pushes further out, what other human things, ideals, organizations, symbols will we take with us? What else might take root out there?
That's the big question, really. What do we carry forward?
Reminds me of Aldrin's other famous words when he first looked out. Beautiful view.
Magnificent desolation.
Right. That contrast, the beauty and the emptiness, the challenge, it highlights why building connections, those bridges of brotherhood, as the Masons might say, is so important when facing the unknown.
Well said.
And maybe a good place to leave it is with the motto of Robert Burns Lodge, where we found much of this story. Dare to be honest and fear no labor.
A fitting end.